And we are live. I want to read to you my notes from the classic personal development classic of all time by Earl Nightingal called Lead the Field. It was a program that was developed, I believe, in 1956, and it went on to sell over 1 million copies. It was regarded as a classic in personal development in the library, and one of Nightingale Conant's bestsellers that inspired a whole generation of motivational speakers. So I'm going to read you some of my notes and highlighted notes from different selections of the program that I hope you can get value out of. It's a hot day here in Vancouver, Richmond. July 1st, basically. Got the air conditioning on, fan. Classic Diego Maradona Argentina jersey. And the Lead the Field notebook that I'm writing. I'm not gonna read all the program to you. I'm gonna read you what I think are the most important notes, like for you to remember. So I'm gonna give you a condensed version, an updated version of it, so you can easily digest it and memorize it and put it into action. One day we should give a prize for who can write the most notes. You can use these notes 20 years from now, in your family, business, relationships, health, well-being. People say, oh, why write notes? Something about when the pen hits the paper and you start writing, it really programs the mind and the subconscious, and they become valuable down the road. You can look back and reflect on it and learn from it. And also you can pass on to others what you've learned too. You can share. The 5 abilities from Jim Rohn were absorb, respond, reflect, act, and the 5th ability was the ability to share what creates joy. So we want to share with others what we have. The secret to living is giving. And now, having said that, Earl Nightingale's famous program, Lead the Field. Part 1 is called what Earl Nightingale calls the magic word. Before that, let me just give you an introduction. Lead the Field has changed more lives, brought about more success stories, helped create more millionaires, and saved more careers, important jobs, and marriages than any other program ever produced. We all want good results from life in our home, in our work, and all our contacts with other people. The most important single factor that guarantees good results day in and day out, all the months and years of our lives, is a healthy attitude. Attitude is the magic word. Starts off with part 1, attitude. Attitude is the magic word. Keep that in mind. And let's continue with Lead the Field by Earl Nightingale. Jai's notes on the program. Our attitude is something we can control. We can establish our attitude each morning when we start our day. You and I are responsible for our lives. You and I produce causes all day long, every day of our lives. The environment can return to us only a corresponding effect. That is why I say that each of us determines the quality of his or her own life. We can get back what we put out. It was William James of Harvard University, the father of psychology in America, who said human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. In trying to describe the attitude that has worked so well for me over the years, I found myself using 2 important words: gratitude and expectant. Expect the best, and generally the best will show up. Powers in the expectancy. And be grateful. The more grateful that you are for everything in your life, the more flows to you. Live with an attitude of gratitude. I found myself using two important words, gratitude and expectant. First, I'm grateful for the opportunity to live on this beautiful and astonishing planet Earth. In the morning, I wake up with a sense of gratitude. Secondly, I expect the best. I expect to reach the goals I establish for myself. We'll talk a good deal more about this concept later in the program. I find the idea of fulfilling these goals agreeable, hence the attitude of expectancy, and I know the world will give me back what I put out in the way of attitude, so it's up to me. I am responsible. Luck is what happens when preparedness meets opportunity. Opportunity is there all the time. So our job is to be prepared, have preparation. Successful people come in all sizes, shapes, ages, and colors, and they have widely varying degrees of intelligence and education. But they have one thing in common: they expect more good out of life than bad. They expect success more often than failure, and they do succeed. Remember this: our environment, the world in which we live and work, is a mirror of our attitudes and expectations. We need to smile more, speak to people, go out to people. Everything in the world we want to do or get done, we must do it through people. Every dollar we'll ever earn must come from people. The person we love, with whom we want to spend the rest of our life as a human being, with whom we must interact. Our children are individuals, each different from any other person who ever lived. And what affects them most is our attitude, the loving kindness they see and feel whenever we are around them. If you'll begin to develop and maintain an attitude that says yes to life in the world, you'll be astonished at the changes you'll see. We must radiate success before it will come to us. We must first become mentally, from an attitude standpoint, the people we wish to become. Many years ago, a newspaper reporter asked the famous Los Angeles restaurateur, "When did you become successful?" He replied, "I was successful when I was dead broke. I knew what I wanted to do and I knew I'd do it. It was just only a matter of time." He had a successful attitude long before the success he sought had become a reality. Key points: treat every person with whom you come into contact as the most important person on earth. Do that for three excellent reasons. One, as far as every person is concerned, he is the most important person on earth. Two, that is the way human beings ought to treat each other. Three, by treating everyone this way, we begin to form an important habit. There is nothing in the world that men, women, and children want more than self-esteem, the feeling that they're important, that they're recognized, that they're needed, that they count, and that they are respected, that they are needed, that they are counted and respected, that they'll give their love, their respect, and their business to the people who fills this need. A great attitude does much more than turn on the lights in our world. It seems to magically connect us to all sorts of serendipities, opportunities that were somehow absent before the change. Maybe that's what people mean when they say we're lucky. Suddenly, we do find ourselves getting the so called breaks, but it's really nothing more than this new connection to the world that comes with a great attitude. We find ourselves doing more and doing it in less time. We put ourselves directly in the path of all kinds of serendipitous happenings. When you begin to develop a better attitude, you realize that you've already placed yourself among the top 5% of the people, among the most successful people on earth. You've placed yourself on the road to what you seek. You've prepared the ground. You've only to plant the seed. Finally, the deepest craving of the human being is for recognition and self-esteem. To be needed, to feel important, to be recognized and appreciated. That includes our loved ones and everyone else whom we come into contact during your days. Radiate the attitude of well-being and confidence, the attitude of the person who knows where he is going. You'll find all sorts of good things happening to you. Lastly, treat everyone with whom you come into contact as the most important person on earth. Start this habit and practice it consistently, and you'll do it and benefit from it for the rest of your life. Thank you. The second part is called Acres of Diamonds. These are my notes on it. Just wrote some brief notes on Acres of Diamonds. It's based on a book by Russell H. Conwell, and it has a good metaphor and lesson in life. My first note is your mind is your richest resource. Opportunities are everywhere. There may be acres of diamonds in your own backyard. We're always looking for opportunities everywhere, but they could be just right in your backyard. Think about it. Every kind of work has such an opportunity lurking within it. The opportunities are there now, clamoring to be noticed, but they cannot speak or print signs for us to read. Our part of the bargain is to look at our work with new eyes, with the eyes of creation, with the eyes of opportunity. Opportunities are everywhere. Pierre Teilhard said, "It is our duty as men and women to proceed as though limits to our abilities do not exist. We are collaborators in creation." But there's great fun in finding diamonds hiding in ourselves and our work. If something is needed in one town, then the chances are that it's needed also in the towns and cities all over the country. To become diamond miners, the first thing we need to do is break away from the crowd and quit assuming that because people in the millions are living that way, it must be the best way. It is not the best way. It is the average way. The people going the best way are way out in front. They're so far ahead of the crowd, you can't even see their dust anymore. They're the people who live and work on the leading edge, the cutting edge, and they mark the way for all the rest. You and I have a choice to make, really. It takes imagination, curious imagination, to see diamonds in their rough state as cut and polished gemstones, and to see a pile of iron or a stainless steel. Each morning, ask yourself, how can I increase my service today? Human beings should never be settled. It's okay for chickens and cows and cats, but it's wrong for human beings. People start to die when they become settled. We need to keep things stirred up. Start taking an hour a day with a legal pad and pen to just dissect your work. Take it apart and look at this constituting parts. There's opportunity there. That's your acres of diamonds. Moving on to the third part, talks about a worthy destination. Worthy destination in this chapter talks about goals. And I like that he says success is a journey, not a destination. Freedom and personal liberty is the most precious thing on earth. The people we have talked about here and the thousands currently doing the same things all over the country possess something the average American doesn't have. They have goals. They have burning desire to succeed despite all handicaps. They know exactly what they want. They think about it every day of their lives. It gets them up in the morning and it keeps them giving their very best all day long. It is the last thing they think about before dropping off to sleep at night. They have a vision of exactly what they want to do, and that vision carries them over every obstacle. The secret of freedom, the secret of happiness is freedom. The secret of freedom, courage. The best definition of success I've ever found goes like this. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal, or in some cases, the pursuit of a worthy goal. As long as you're pursuing a goal, you are a success. I'll give you this definition some thought. I think you'll agree with me. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. That's a beautiful definition of success. It means that anyone who's on a course toward the fulfillment of a goal is successful now. Success does not lie in the achievement of a goal, although that's what the world considers success. It lies in the journey toward the goal. We're successful as long as we're working towards something. We're moving towards something. It's in the journey. That's when the human being is at its best. That's what Servants meant. He wrote, the road is better than the inn. The magic word, our mental attitude, can make all the difference between winning and losing. One of my favorite poems is by Rabindranath Tagore, the distinguished poet from Calcutta, India. This is beautiful. And it goes like this. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was duty. I acted and behold, duty was joy. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was duty. I acted and behold, duty was joy. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I woke and saw that life was duty. I acted and behold, duty was joy. That's from Rabindranath Tagore, the distinguished poet from Calcutta, India. Also wrote the book Gitanjali. We're at our very best and we're happiest when we're fully engaged in work we enjoy on the journey toward the goal we establish ourselves. It gives meaning to our time off and comfort to our sleep. It makes everything else in life so wonderful, so worthwhile. Joy and satisfaction come to us from serving others, and there are literally millions of ways of doing that. I like to compare human beings to ships. As Carlyle used to do, it's estimated about 95% can be compared to ships without rudders. Subject to every shift of wind and tide, they're helplessly adrift, and while they fondly hope that they will one day drift into some rich and bustling port, you and I know that for every narrow harbor entrance, there are thousands of miles of rocky coastline. The chances they're drifting to port are 1,000 to 1 against them. But the 5% who have taken the time and exercised the discipline to climb into the driver's seat of their lives, who have decided upon a challenging goal to reach, and fully committed themselves to reaching it, sailed straight and far across the deep oceans of life, reaching one port after another and accomplishing more in just a few years than the rest accomplished in a lifetime. I started looking for the so-called secret of success when I was 12 years old. I read every book I could find on the subject. I studied psychology and sociology. I studied the great religions of the world. I read the world's greatest philosophers. All of a sudden, many years later, I realized that in the hundreds of lives I've studied and the countless books I've read, a plain and simple truth had kept appearing. It is believed that no one can learn anything until he is ready for it. Apparently, I was finally ready in my late 20s to see for the first time the secret I had searched for so long. It was simply this: we become what we think about. As Carlyle put it, the person without a purpose is like a ship without a rudder. Having a purpose in life and having it through just such a strength of mind and muscle to work as God has given you. Munger said, there's no road to success but through a clear, strong purpose. Nothing can take its place. A purpose underlies character, culture, position, attainment, and every sort. And number 4 is miracle of your mind. It calls it the power of your mind and consciousness. Now let's look at a few facts. The 40-hour week long standard is an imminent likelihood of being shortened even further. This means that the average working person has at disposal an enormous amount of free time. In fact, if you total the hours in a year and subtract the sleeping hours, assuming 8 hours of sleep every night, you'll find that this person has about 6,000 waking hours, of which less 2,000 are spent on the job. Now, this leaves 4,000 hours a year when a person is neither working nor sleeping. These can be called discretionary hours, with which that person can do pretty much as he pleases. Wow, so a person has 4,000 hours to do whatever they want to do. Use your moments wisely. As Master Parliament Yogananda says, you're the master of the moments of your life. Time management is everything. Use your time wisely. So you can see the amazing results in your life. I want to recommend that you devote just 1 hour a day, 5 days a week to exercising your mind. You don't even have to do it on weekends. Pick 1 hour a day that you can count on fairly regular. The best time for me is an hour before the others up in the morning. The mind is clear, the house is quiet, and if you like, with a fresh cup of coffee, this is the time to start the mind going. And here's one way to do it. During this hour, every day, take a complete blank sheet of paper. At the top of the page, write your present primary goal. Then, since our future depends on the way in which we handle our work, write down as many ideas as you can for improving that which you now do. Try to think of 20 possible ways in which the activity that fills your day can be improved. You won't always get 20, but even one idea is good. An hour a day, 5 days a week, totals 260 hours a year, and still leaves you with 3,740 hours of free leisure time. Now, this means you'll be thinking about your goal and ways of improving your performance, increasing your service, 6.5 extra working hours a year, 6 and 1.5 40-hour weeks devoted to thinking and planning. Can you see how easy it is to rise above the so-called competition? And it will still leave you with 7 hours a day to spend as you please. It's like spending 5 hours a week digging in a solid vein of pure gold, because your mind is all that and much, much more. The only thing that in the world that can take you to your goals in life is your mind, your effective use of it, and you follow through on the good ideas it supplies you. Part 5 of the program, he calls Destiny and Balance. He calls it service, providing service to others, finding ways to increase service. Quote, our rewards in life will always match our service. When you say our rewards in life will always match our service, find ways that you can add value to people's lives. But remember this, whenever you seek in the form of rewards, you must first earn the form of service to others, service and contribution. George Bernard Shaw once commented, I have become rich and famous by thinking a couple times a week. Most people never think at all. Part 6 of the program is called Seed for Achievement. Be true to yourself, be your best, and live your life with integrity. As we are true to ourselves, we cannot be false to anyone else. If our word to live by is integrity, we have what we need in a pinch. Our sleep is untouched and respected wherever we go. Integrity means to try as best as we can to know ourselves, to examine ourselves as Socrates advised, and to make a true assessment of ourselves, an inventory of our abilities, our talents, our goals. A great affirmation to say is, my confidence is unshakable because I live my life with integrity. And integrity is one of the top qualities of an enlightened warrior. Our only hope for real success of winning the hearts and minds of people we serve is in helping them in some way, and thus improving their standard of living. But if we content to give less than our best, we're actually working against ourselves. The average working person in our society is paid for about 40 hours a week. This leaves 128 hours a week to do as he pleases. Never before in the history of humankind have we had so much free time. That's 128 hours a week, more than 3 times as much time as we spend on the job. How much is all that time worth? We need our sleep. We need on our leisure time, of course, need time to relax, to take it easy and recharge our batteries, but we need 128 hours for that. Our greatest enemy has never changed. Its name is ignorance. So let's summarize. What do we mean by integrity? It means giving everything we do our very best. Part 7, it's called It's Easier to Win. It's never a crowded long extra mile. Be a nonconformist. Stay motivated. Now let's look at some facts of life. Only about 5% of the people achieve unusual success during their lives. These are the people who earn larger incomes, live in better neighborhoods and better large homes, have better educations, enjoy more good things in life, and make correspondingly large contributions to their communities. They tend to speak better English and send their kids to better schools. Answer, he knows how to serve the people. But most people in that top 5% fit the earlier description. Many of them, they're set for life as they are a group, tend to enjoy themselves very much. They play a better game of golf or tennis and enjoy their lifestyles. There are very two distinct groups of people in our society. There's the top 5% who live and work in the top section here, and the person who have drawn a line under what represents the top 5% of the pyramid. The higher up on the pyramid you climb, the better the view, the fresher the air, and the smaller the crowd. That's important to know, but it takes more effort to climb higher on a pyramid. It's much easier to settle for those lower layers. You don't have to learn so much, and so on. But if you're tuning into this program and you're listening to Lead the Field by Earl Nightingal, this program is for the people who want to be on the top 5% of field to lead the field. It contains a great deal of what we need to know to get and to stay on the top 5%. And leave the 95% alone, as Jim Rohn says, and join the 5%. And while getting into the top 5% may be one's goal, it's good to remember that, like any destination on planet Earth, there are millions of ways to get there. Any road will do, any calling will do if we go about it in the right way. We can get rich hauling garbage, and many have already done so. It is a vital service to the community, but we have to go about it in a certain way. Do you know why some people are paid $20,000 a week while others are paid the minimum wage? Bill Cosby earned $12 million in 1986. Do you know why? It's because of the people he serves. There's a talk I like to give to you young people. Some would say I'd stir discontent among them, but I replied that discontent is a great motivator for them, and it's responsible for every great boon to humankind, from running water and the indoor toilet to the supermarket. A little discontent is a good thing, especially when it's discontent with ourselves. Successful people follow independent paths. This is the important point to remember. At some point in our lives, they break away from the crowd and start on a path of their own. That's the adult, the intelligent thing for a human creature to do. In striking off on an independent path, they are not necessarily alone. It's just that they join a much smaller group of like minded people. We can't take the whole crowd into that top 5%. It's much easier to win. One of the best things about getting into that top 5% is that as we get older, life not become less interesting for us, more laborious. We become more productive as we approach our 60s, 70s, and often many years beyond. And it's nice to grow older with all the goodies of life. It's more comfortable. One can spend one's winters in Florida or someone south of the equator, and one's summers in the cooler, healthier climates. And one can enjoy all the benefits of the good life. But perhaps most important, one can say, I gave it my best, and I'm not done yet through. It's been a wonderful experience, this holiday on Earth, and I've enjoyed it very, very much. Now let's see what I can do with the rest of it. Yes, I think it's actually easier to win. There's less competition up there where the view is so much better and the air is so fresh and clean. And it's almost never too late with a purpose, a worthy goal, and the motivation to reach those upper layers on the pyramid. A person can travel farther in a few years than he might otherwise travel in a lifetime. Part 8 is called, the title's it, How Much Are You Worth? Talks about time management and life management. Earl Nightingale says that the average human being actually is worth at least $85 billion or more. Wow. But actually, we're priceless. But put a number on it, 85 billion. Wow, that is staggering. By this estimate, the average person is worth about $85 billion, Earl Nightingale states, in Lead the Field. Interesting. A business comes down to different sections. Number 1, finance. 2, production. 3, sales. And 4, research and development. It's true, knowledge is power. Learn to enjoy every minute of your life. Be happy now. Don't wait for something outside yourself to make you happy in the future. As my good friend Wally Amos of famous Amos chocolate chip cookies says, happiness isn't an inside job. Think how really precious is the time you have to spend, whether it is at work or with your family. Every minute should be enjoyed and savored. A human life is really nothing more than a collection of minutes, hours, and days. These are the building materials, and it's left strictly up to us to determine the kind and size of structure we build. Part 9, let's talk about money and finances. Your income is in direct proportion to your service and contribution. Try to remember this formula. The amount of money we receive will always be in direct ratio to the demand for what we do, our ability to do it, and the difficulty of replacing us. That's why it's important that our uniqueness is our greatest asset making money. My uniqueness is my greatest asset making money. Your uniqueness is your greatest asset making money. Be unique in what you do, provide a talent, service, product, and deliver it with massive value, and your rewards will be staggering. It's the same with the star in show business. His income will very accurately reflect the demand for what he does. So remember, demand and supply. The higher demand, the better the supply. That's why preparation for life is so important. As we mentioned, luck has been defined as what happens when preparedness meets opportunity. A great opportunity will only make the unprepared, unqualified appear ridiculous. For every one of us, opportunities are all around us. Our ability to see them will depend largely upon how well we have prepared ourselves. So in talking about money, let's understand that we are already rich as people. Most people think that they want more money than they really do, and they settle for a lot less than they could earn if they went about it the right way. The world will pay you exactly what you bargained for, exactly what you earn, not a penny more. Our rewards will always be in exact proportion to our service. If you don't like your income, you must devise ways and means of increasing your service. Your service must come out of you, your mind, your ability, and your energy. There are really three amounts of money a person should decide upon: the yearly income he wants to earn now or near in the future, the amount of money he wants to have in savings or investment account, and three, the amount of money he wants as retirement income, whether or not he ever retires from active work. Jim Rohn's father was working at age 89. Jim Rohn said, "Father of mine, 89 is a great year to retire." And Jim Rohn's father said, "Jim, talk to me in 10 years when I'm about 99." Meaning that when you really love what you do and you're in Dharma, you never retire. You never retire. Because duty is joy and joy is duty, as Tagore said. You see, the trouble with people is not that they cannot achieve their goals. They can do that all right. The trouble is that they don't set goals. They leave their future to chance and find out sooner or later into their sorrow that chance doesn't work, that they've missed the boat. It's estimated that only 5% decide on the money they'll earn, and it grows persons to earn the incomes they seek. Thus, they take their lives, their fortunes, and their futures into their own hands, as they should, and accomplish their goals right on schedule all the years of their lives. You can do the same, and you can do it starting right now. It's not the job, it's the person. The only limit on your income is you, and the income you decide upon can be achieved within the framework of your present work or within the industry or profession where you already have a start in place. If not there, it can be found somewhere else. All you need is the plan, the roadmap, and the courage to press on to your destination, knowing in advance that there will be problems and setbacks, but knowing also that nothing on earth can stand in the way of a plan backed by persistence and determination. With the income that you intend to earn written down on a card, spend a part of a day each thinking of ways in which you can increase your service, knowing that you have only to manage this and the income will take care of itself. Have faith in yourself and the quiet, firm inner knowledge that you can accomplish your goals. Know that the answers you seek will come to you in their own time, and only you keep looking for them. Every person should know that happiness in his work and home and prosperity, these things can and we should be yours. It all goes back to the great law of controls everything, the universe, the law of cause and effect. The cause must precede the effect, or the effect cannot occur. That's why people who try to get something for nothing are only fooling themselves and earning the disillusionment and frustration they know. You could have what you want, you need only make up your mind. And number 10 is called the one thing you cannot hide, and he calls it knowledge, vocabulary, and language. Constantly increase your knowledge, constantly increase your skill, constantly increase your vocabulary, and that will increase your income and your satisfaction. Remember, the higher you climb on your pyramid, the farther you can see, the fresher the air, and the less crowded it becomes. Another reward thing about the climbing is that as we climb, we help most of those associated with us to climb too. One of the most important ladders leading to the top is knowledge. A person should begin with the study of his language and then study his general area of interest. Those two steps in that order can move right up their ladder. Constantly build your library, constantly learn and grow. It says children with best vocabularies get the best grades in school. Our use of our language is the one thing we can't hide. Reader's Digest published an article by Blake Cartile, Work Can Work Wonders with You. You see, understanding our language is the key to studying and learning everything else. Make it a point to acquire books that will help you improve your vocabulary. You cannot just grow on the easy stuff. You have to read and challenge yourself to the tougher stuff. That's what Jim Rohn said. You have to stretch your mind, grow. You'll find them valuable additions to your library and enormous help in your career. Impress on your youngsters the importance of knowing their language and the importance of speech. I think a good personal library is essential. This is what Earl Nightingal said. It should contain good books and a dozen or so excellent tape cassette programs. The tape cassette programs is the greatest innovation in learning since the invention of the printing press. It's effortless, so effective. When you listen to the human voice, you're learning the way you learn most of what you know. It's the most natural way to learn. And while a book is often read only once, tape cassettes, video cassettes, and audio cassettes can be listened to over and over again. Over months and years later. You can listen to them while you're doing other things, dressing in the morning, driving the car, having a snack, or sitting at the dinner table so that the entire family can soak up some information. Those without a good library, and they don't even build bookshelves in American homes anymore unless they're specified an architect, are seriously handicapped. They miss so much of the fun, the joy of learning the things they want to learn. Books and cassettes are not an expense item, they are an investment. So continually invest in yourself and your knowledge and your education. T. Harv Eker said, if you think education is expensive, if you think investment in your education is expensive, try ignorance. As far as you know, they pay us dividends out of an all proportion to their small costs, and not only in pleasure and knowledge, but also in cash and in income. Invest in yourself in a good library, books, videos, audio cassettes, and as Earl Nightingal says, will translate into cash incomes in your pocket, tangible. As someone also written, books extends our narrow present back into the limitless past, and all leaders of all time, from JFK to Benjamin Franklin to Master Paramananda, Abraham Lincoln, all leaders have been readers. Remember that. All great leaders have been readers. So constantly read. They show us the mistakes of the men and women before us and share with us recipes for human success. Biographies, autobiographies. There's nothing to be done with books, and let me add, it will not help us do much better. To try to live without constantly expanding our knowledge in closing us. Now, let me make an important point. The person who knows where he is going and who has made up his mind to get there is going to make the grade regardless of education. If an education is necessary to the accomplishment of his goal, he'll get it. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence and determination. I think we believe that Calvin Coolidge said that, one of the United States early presidents. Nothing can take the place but of persistence and determination. Those are two of the most important qualities. Yet I think it's important to succeed in every department of our lives. Becoming well educated is one of the most vital. What good is a large material success if a person hasn't remained too ignorant to enjoy it or to administer it? Knowledge is power. The greater your knowledge, the more power you can exercise over your life and your future. You pick the place on the pyramid you want to go. Pick the top 5%. Be in the top 5%. and leave the 95% alone. You deserve it. Lead the field. Earl Nightingale. First with your language, next with your general area of interest, 2 subjects that can keep you growing and interested for the rest of your life. Listen to our excellent audio cassette programs from Earl Nightingale Conant. Building vocabulary. Spend at least 15 minutes every day reading something not only interesting, but also calculated to stretch your mind a little more. Remember that a mind stretched by a new idea can never again return to its original dimensions. And finally, realize that graduating from school is just the beginning. The commencement of your days and years of learning, and with wisdom will come kindness, patience, love, understanding, and success as a person. It's never too late to begin. And part 11, today's greatest adventure, live one day at a time. Live day by day. Make each day a successful day and over accomplishment of a lifetime. Go one successful month, month, 5 months, a year. Next thing you know, 20 years, it'll be successful. But one day at a time. Take one day at a time. The key is to live successfully one day at a time. A successful life is nothing more than a lot of successful days put together. It's going to take so many days to reach your goal. If this goal is to be reached, the minimum amount of time every day must count. Think of a single day as a building block with which you're building the tower of your life. If everything we do during the day is a success and is done in the best fashion we're capable, we can fall asleep that our night is with comfortable knowledge that we've done our very best, that our day has been a success, that one more stone has been successfully put into place. This is the way to really live. Do each day all that can be done that day. To get the habit of success, and that's why successful people go from one success to another, because it's a habit with them. They've created a success habit, a pattern. You need only to succeed in small tasks of each day. This makes a successful day. With enough of these, you have a successful week, month, year, and lifetime. That is why I say success is not a matter of luck. Far from it. It can be predicted and guaranteed. And anyone can achieve it by following this plan. Almost before you realize it, you'll have achieved your goal. Rather, it was the consistent, unrelenting, successful succession of single days that turned the trick. This is the way a skyscraper, a home, or a human life is successfully built. One successful day at a time, and each day comprising a collection of successful tasks. One successful task at a time. Write down on the paper the 6 most important things you have done to do tomorrow. The executive thought about it and had requested. It took him about 3 or 4 minutes. The company president said sent Ivy Lee a check for $25,000 with a letter saying the lesson was the most profitable from a money standpoint he ever learned in his lesson. Write down the top 6 things you have to do each day, and then live from number 1 to number 6. So that idea was worth $25,000. Think about it. Valuable. For the next 7 days, try the 25,000 idea in your life. Tonight, write on a slip of paper the 6 most important things you have to do. Then number them in the order of their importance. Tomorrow morning, go to work on item number 1 and stay with it until it's successfully completed. Then move on to number 2 and so on. When you finish with all 6, get another piece of paper and repeat the process. As you go through this method, remember to live the best you can, one day at a time. You need not worry about tomorrow or the next day or what's going to happen at the end of the month. One day at a time, handled successfully, will carry you over every hurdle, will solve every problem. You can relax in the happy knowledge that successful tasks make successful days, which in turn build a successful life. This is the kind of logic no one can argue with. It will work every time for every person. If you'll do the best you can do each day, you'll wake up one day and find yourself among the most competent people in the generation. As St. Edmund says, Archbishop Canterbury wrote, work as though you would live forever, but live as though you would die tomorrow. Now try writing down the 6 most important things you have to do tomorrow, then number them in the order of their importance. Really do this. Remember that everything in the entire limitless universe operates according to the law of cause and effect. There are no exceptions to this. Nothing happens by accident. And for every result, there is a cause. You have only to take care of the cause, and the effect will always, without exception, take care of itself. Good cause, good effect. No cause, no effect. Bad cause, bad effect. It's as reliable as the rising of the sun. This business of living the best we can one day at a time has an almost unbelievable cumulative effect for good, for success, and for the things we want. And part 12 of the program, the last part of the program, is called The Person on the White Horse, Earl Nightingale calls it. Become a leader, become more valuable, and lead the field. Be in the top 5%. Be outstanding in your field. Say to yourself every day in the mirror, I'm an outstanding success, and nothing in the world can stop me. I'm an outstanding success, and nothing in the world can stop me. I'm an outstanding success, and nothing in the world can stop me. I am powerful, persuasive, creative, and productive. I'm unstoppable. I do whatever it takes. I choose to be powerful, strong, and confident. I am an outstanding success, and nothing in the world can stop me. Say that in the mirror and look at your eyes and believe it. And this leader will always be found to be just one person, the man or woman on the white horse, as Earl Nightingale calls it. You'll be the hero. You'll find behind its success an outstanding leader. This is the most valuable person in society. He's the employer of millions. He's the dreamer, the planner. The clock is something that other people watch. You'll find this person working early and late, and when he's not working, he's usually thinking and planning. I believe I know several ways in which your business can be greatly increased, and I'd like to talk to you about them. The best way for you to develop the security that lasts a lifetime is to become outstanding at one particular line of work. Look at it this way: regardless of economics ups and downs, the industry which line work is part will continues to operate. It won't shut down completely as long as you're in the top 5% of the people in that industry. You know you'll always be in demand. You'll be wanted and needed in that industry. The man or woman who becomes truly outstanding at what he or she does has the world on a string. Here's the person of confidence and peace of mind. Ask yourself this question: am I now such a person? Down deep inside, you know the answer. If you answered yes, you're among the most fortunate people and in one of the smallest, most selected groups on earth. If your answer was no, it can be turned into yes in a surprisingly short time. When he was asked the formula for success, the great steel magnate Andrew Carnegie answered, put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket. A leader takes the responsibility for his own growth. He's a planner, a thinker, a doer. Each of us can become such a leader in his own area of activity. It's not difficult, and in the long run, it's easier for us and on us than what it may appear to be in these other two courses. Simply fix your eyes upon your goal, visualize it with every ounce of your being, enjoy the prospect of it, and courageously set out toward it. Maintain a cheerful, helpful attitude toward everyone. Become a sponge for information that will help you on your way. You don't have to waste years making the mistakes others have made before. You'll be surprised at how quickly you'll reach your goal. But don't be impatient. Know and have faith that what should come to you will come to you at the right time. Everything in the world works on the side of the person who works with nature's laws. No experience in any way operates in accordance with law. Law that is true and unchanging. Law of the stars and the balance of the world. As Emerson wrote, let him learn the prudence of a higher strain. Let him learn that everything in nature, even dust and feathers, goes by law, not by luck, and that what he sows, he reaps. Look about you, take stock of your present situation because it's nothing more or less than the result of your past sowing. Are you happy with it? Is it what you want? Then you know what you must do today. Sow today, tomorrow, and the next day. And the sowing, rest in the calm, serene, cheerful, serene certainty that having sown, you'll then reap all the years of your life. the rich results that come automatically, the abundant harvest. Now, this is Earl Nightingal reminding you that success as a human being in modern society does not come naturally. It requires the conscious utilization of ourselves in the service of others. Each of us has an inner voice. Emerson referred to it as that iron sting that vibrates from us on his great essay, Self-Reliance. Each of us wants to succeed during this holiday on Earth. Each of us should, but we don't succeed in groups. We succeed or fail as individuals. So again, be on the top 5%, be outstanding, and leave that 95% behind. Lead the Field program you have heard on these cassettes contains the best basic information on the great ideas we need to reach whatever goal you seriously choose. Read these notes often and remind yourself of the basics. Think of this program and the other Nightingale Connaught programs you order in the future as your partners in success. You can always refer back to them. You'll find yourself delighted by the new enthusiasm and excitement you'll experience as you bring new meaning and new rewards into your life. Thank you. And this concludes my notes on Lead the Field by Earl Nightingale, truly a classic in the personal development field. Thanks for the patience for listening, and I hope it benefits you in some way in the future. God bless you. Namaste.